Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of The Professor's Picks. I have to say that slow because when I try to rush it, I fumble over my words. It's not that hard, right? I'm asking the professor about how to say Professor's Picks. Say it real fast, Ken.
The Professor's Picks.
Yeah, but say it really fast because I talk fast sometimes. But anyway, we're here at the Professor's Picks. See, I just did it. See? I can't do it. Anyway, the professor is here, Mr. Ken Golden, ready to tell you about all sorts of cool stuff. Apparently, he didn't have much to talk about till about an hour ago, and now all of a sudden he's flooded with new releases. See that? The power of the mail delivery, right? You got to love it, right?
Unbelievable. UPS and FedEx were ringing my doorbell, and it was kind of going crazy here this morning. So
unbelievable.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff. So
cool.
It's kind of cool. And
before you get started, we were just notified, literally, because all of us Prog-seek guys just chat with each other all day long online, and we were just notified. I'm not wearing it for that reason, but we were just notified that there's going to be another reissue of King Crimson's Red album, the 50th anniversary deluxe edition. Didn't we just get like a deluxe edition like a couple of years ago for the 40th and the 45th and the 30th? And I'm like, what more could they possibly put on this release?
Well, this is like the Dolby Atmos mixes, and I mean, I'm going to carry it, of course. I'm not going to put it up for pre-order, but I'll bring it in. Yeah. So it's got.
It gets to a point where like enough is enough already, right?
Yeah.
But that's what they're doing now. They're re-releasing them again with different sound options, right? On the Blu-ray. That's kind of weird because there's no additional content.
No,
as like unearthed tracks or live things or anything like that. It's just going to be, here's the album again. You get these two additional new audio options, right, for your wonderful stereo. It's like, okay.
Yeah, well, and what were those ones I was selling not that long ago? It's got like even the music that didn't get used, like, it's
rehearsal takes and instrumental versions. And
I don't need to know how the sausage is made.
Just,
you know what I mean?
Just give me the damn tasty sausage.
Give me the damn thing. Let it taste good. Let me enjoy it. I don't need the tour. I don't need the tour backstage. So.
Yeah. Well, the problem is with a lot of these reissues is that they've already scraped the barrel of everything. So they find like alternate takes without bass, with additional guitar, with electric piano. No, this one's got mellotron, and it's just like, a lot of that stuff with and without vocals, or with the guide vocal, or with a different lyric. And it's just like, you listen to all that stuff once and you never go back to it again.
Yeah.
But most of us completists, you have to have it, right? Got to have it.
Way to go to kill my sales, Pete.
But the King Crimson fans won't care because they're salivating for this, right? You got to, the curse of the collector. It's like they will go and they will buy it.
And you know what? Well, some of these things, like I'm taking pre-orders for that King Crimson Sheltering Skies, because honestly, I didn't know what the demand would be like for something like that. So it's like, do you go crazy and bring in a lot of copies, and then a year from now you're staring at a stack, or do you not bring in enough, and people are bugging you like, hey, what happened to that Sheltering Skies that you had on your website last week? So, yeah. But with something like this with Red, well, of course we're going to carry it, but I'm not going to bother with pre-ordering.
I mean, it's a great album, but
it's great. So I want to say,
everybody, I know I'm not wearing the red. I'm wearing Discipline today, but it's I was remarking on the whole color red, and it's King Crimson, and
I didn't get to say I had a lot of fun when we did the Italian Prague show. It's going to air next week.
Yes. So folks who obviously it's already up on the channel, but you can't watch it yet. It'll be premiering on Tuesday. That was a really fun episode. And it was just, I don't know, for me personally, it was really cool talking about albums and bands that we don't talk about all the time.
Yeah, it was great.
So for those folks who watch the Prog-seek all the time and just, like, when are they going to do another show on Yes and stuff, you got to understand from our perspective, it's like talking about the same 5-6 bands all the time. We love them too, but there's a lot of other bands and albums to talk about. So it can't always be about the big heavy hitters all the time. But it was good. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I think we could easily do another Italian Prague episode.
I hope you were cool with me posting on Instagram and Facebook as I was listening to those albums, and people were talking. They're still talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, guys are getting into arguments You know, like, oh, Il Boleto Bronze is not as good as La Conda della Fata. You're crazy. You know, it's like, whatever. You know?
Well,
But it's good. Hey, look, if people talk about this stuff,
yes.
That's what we're here for, right? Yes. So that's what it's all about.
Yes. If only 2,000 or 3,000 people watch it, we know that the masses don't give a shit about Italian prog. But I'd be surprised. I'm hoping it does well, because I think all of us really enjoyed it, and we want to do a follow-up because, quite frankly, you know, as great as the 5 albums are that we included, there's more.
Oh, we could pick another 5 easy.
Yeah, we could pick another 5 that don't include any of those bands.
Yeah.
And I think that's the cool part of this. I mean, I've noticed like Cans has already been listening to other stuff. If you've noticed, you've been following him on Facebook. He's been listening to other like classics in Italian prog that we didn't cover, that maybe we mentioned or maybe we didn't mention. I'm like, oh, he's already starting. I can see it. So
yeah, you lit the spark. You know, you lit the.
That's all it takes, right? It's like once you get started, there's no going back. So we'll see. So for everybody watching this now, bookmark, tune in, put it on your calendar, whatever the hell you got to do. Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Prog Seat, a 5-way Italian prog battle, 5 classics. We've got, let's see. So we got Darwin from Banco del Mutuo Soccorso. We got Piero Nemico from Premiata Fornerio Marconi, otherwise known as Pre-FM. We've got Il Boleto di Bronzo, Ease. We've got Museo Rosenbach Zarathustra and Le Orme Felona e Sirona. Whew. Those are the ones.
And by November, we'll be doing the top 5 prog albums from Singapore. So,
and that one nobody will watch, unfortunately.
Nobody.
Anyway, you want me to put your stuff on the stage?
It's there. It's there for you. Oh,
all right, here we
go.
Ready to the stage. Here we go.
All right. Well, let me just say, I've been working on this record with Chris Herron a long time. So I'm very happy to start taking pre-orders for this. This is the first solo album from Chris Herron, guitarist from Tiles. This is it's a conceptual work. It's kind of based around his 10 years with his dad's battle with Alzheimer's, and it's a beautiful record. And it's not like pyrotechnics. It's not prog metal. It's not Tiles music. It's I put it a little bit more in the art rock, prog rock category. And he had Terry Brown engineer and mix it. Everybody knows Terry Brown from his work with Rush. Hugh Syme did all the artwork. You can see the album cover here. This is the one I voted on, and Hugh, of course, everybody knows from Rush as well.
And both worked with the Tiles and more.
Yeah, with Tiles, of course. And so I guess through Chris's connections and Hugh's connections and Terry's connections, we were able to get a number of guests to participate. And I'm going to call them off. You may be familiar with some of these people. Peter Frampton is on here. Alex Lifeson is on here.
Wow.
3 members from Jethro Tull: Martin Barr, John O'Hara, Doane Perry. Michael Sadler from Saga. Kim Mitchell from Max Webster. Cody Bowles and Kevin Comeau, Crownlands, the Crownlands guys. Jeff Coleman and Shane Gallus from Cosmo Squad. Tim Bonus from No Man. Colin Edwin from Porcupine Tree. Randy McStein also plays and tours with Porcupine Tree. Kevin Chown, who has done, everybody I think kind of knows Kevin. He's a great bass player, done a lot of metal, been in a lot of metal bands. And Matthew Parmenter from Discipline. Wow. So yeah, so it's a really, like I said, it's a beautiful record. It'll be out November 1st. And we are taking pre-orders for it on our website and also on Bandcamp. You can hear a song on Bandcamp, and if you poke around on the net, you'll find the link to the video. That, if I remember correctly, I think Matthew Kennedy from Discipline helped created the video. So that's what we have as far as pre-orders.
That's quite the cast. As Ken has now 10 minutes from now, Ken has 100 pre-orders.
I hope so. That'd be very nice. So yeah, like I said, Chris has been working on this record meticulously for years. So it's finally done. So it's good.
It'll be good to hear Alex Lifeson doing something like this again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think everybody's gonna enjoy it. So
cool.
I guess I'm going to. We'll hit the new stuff first. I think that's how I have this set up. Cyan, The Guardians. So this is Rob Reed, Peter Jones, keyboard player. It's 2 keyboard players. So this is Rob Reed from Magenta. Originally, it was in Cyan, and he went back and he re-recorded with this new version of Cyan. He re-recorded Pictures from the Other Side. Yep. He had a lot more material, and all the extra material became this new album called The Guardians. That just showed up. In fact, it's here, and I didn't put it up on the website yet, but it will be by the time everybody watches this. This was really cool. Delving, All Paths Diverge. This is out on Blues Funeral here. This is Nick DeSalvo from Elder. This is
so they're on Blues Funeral, huh? That's interesting.
It's weird. It's coming on Blues Funeral for the U.S., Stickman for Europe. And I only have the CD right now. The vinyl's on order. I guess the vinyl will be here shortly. I think it's a really cool cover. I think it's pretty neat. And I was listening to it. It's all instrumental, long tracks. Has a bit of like a little bit of like that krautrock feel. He's really into that.
So it's probably more like his other project, Vita, I think, as opposed to Elder, because
yes, absolutely, it's more along those lines.
Okay, that's good stuff. So
yeah, I didn't know what to expect. There were 2 songs up on his Bandcamp page, 2 long tracks, and I listened to it this morning. Really enjoyed it. It was very, very good. So we got that. Next thing we got. Some of you may know this album. I can hold it up over here. This is the SACD of Genesis, selling in England by the pound, cut from the original analog master tapes by Chris Bellman at Bernie Grumman's studio, the mastering studio. And this is the hybrid SACD. So if you can play SACDs and you working in the digital domain and you want to hear this album at its best by far, this is the version. Expensive, but what the hell, you're worth it. Spend the money. What, are you going to take it to the grave with you? Come on. The kids will go to community college. It's not so terrible.
There you go.
All right, next. Guitar Zet. Let me see my notes on Guitar Zet. This is from Poland. It's an instrumental prog-metal band. The guitarist is Arkadiusz Zuzmak. The bass player, whose name I can't pronounce, he was in Disperse, which was a really good short-lived Polish prog-metal band. And a guy that Eric knows, Derek Sherinian, is playing keyboards on it. And Simon Mulroney produced it. Instrumental prog-metal. So that's your thing. You can hear these guys shred away.
Cool.
Next. Oh, I've heard of these guys.
Yeah.
Hammerfall, Avenge the Fallen. I think this is their 12th album. So,
yeah, they got a lot.
Not my thing, but I think the cover kind of says it all.
People love them. They're popular. That's,
Yeah. We got it. Now, this is part of the big restock that I'll be talking about in a few minutes. This is one that slipped past me when I brought in the East Wind Japanese CD reissues. This is a live Terumasu Hino concert. It's just like a lethal show. It's got just ridiculous lineup. He has Sadeo Watanabe on alto sax, Fumio Itabashi on piano, Kayoshi Sugimoto on guitar, Shigeharu Mukai on trombone, who, by the way, even if you hear trombone, you think, man, that kind of blows. He made one of the most amazing fusion albums. Like, he was crazy on like electric trombone. It's wild. Terumasu's brother Motohiko Hino on drums, Masahiko Tagashi on percussion, Akira Okazawa on bass, and Hideo Mayata on tenor sax. It's just killer live show. I think this is the one where I don't remember if it was this one or one of the other ones I'm going to talk about in a second, where it's just like 3 long tracks. Anyway, it's buried in my collection. Haven't listened to it in a long time. But if you like Hino, this is something you need to have.
Sounds good.
Next, don't have a lot of these left. Should be on the website when you guys watch this. Ice, Man in the Moon. They are a new Dutch neo-prog band. I'd say sort of roughly along the lines of a band like a Night Area. So, the Dutch like what they call it like sympho rock and sympho prog. That's what it is. And so it's been selling pretty well since we got it in. From Sweden, this is a very interesting band, Cadavra Hologram. So I brought this in from Black Widow, and a new release from Black Widow Records. We did really well with their last album. And I went to grab the JPEG to set this up, and all I realized the album came out in 2021. Well, it turns out it came out digitally only in 2021. So now it's getting its first physical release.
3 years later, wow.
Yeah, and it's very good. It kind of strikes a balance between like psychedelic and like retro prog. So you might hear like a bit of Hawkwind, but you'll also hear stuff like Anecdoten or Agusa. You got Mellotron, you got Flute, but it's got like that kind of a little bit of like a space rock psychedelic side to it. It kind of it's got its feet in both waters, and like I said, long tracks. It's very good stuff. And,
I love the cover.
Yeah, and I have to say I brought in a lot, and then I like, oh man, this is 3 years old. Why the hell did I bring in so many? I put it up on the website. People are going nuts on it. So luckily I have them, and it's quite a good release. I don't know anything about this. Mammoth Volume. It is on Blues Funeral. They're calling it progressive rock. I haven't heard a note of it, but it came out at the same time as Delving. So I said, what the hell? We're going to bring in copies of Mammoth Volume, Raised Up by Witches.
I will say most of the Blues Funeral stuff is very good. They're just another label like Heavy Psych Sounds and Stickman and all the others that Ripple that just release quality stuff.
Yeah,
in time out. So I'm sure it's good.
My guess is it's going to be cut from similar cloth.
Yeah.
When they're calling it prog rock, their idea of prog rock may not align exactly with my idea of prog rock, but I would expect it to have quite a bit of like a retro flavor to it.
Yeah, it's probably like Elder-ish, I would
think. So, because they call Elder prog rock.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't know. Is Elder stoner rock? Is it psych? Is it prog? I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, it's a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool that these young guys are mixing old and new and coming up with something interesting. All right, what do we got here? This just showed up. Robert Reed from Magenta. Rob records. He has a whole series of Sanctuary. Rob is very, very influenced by Mike Oldfield and the work of Mike Oldfield. Les Penning, who's featured on here, recorded with Mike Oldfield. So this is called Covered, and they're doing cover tunes, I believe, some of which may be Mike Oldfield pieces, I think, and some of it are other pieces, I believe, sort of in the style of cover tunes done in the style of Mike Oldfield. So good bet. I don't know. I haven't heard a note of it, but I like Rob. I like what he does. And I liked his previous Sanctuary projects. Next thing. Pete, you might like this. I don't know. Runaway Totem, Creators. Did you ever hear any of this stuff? On Black Widow.
They've been around forever, though.
Yeah. So the thing is with them, it's like space, kind of like space rock, but with a dose of magma. It's got, if I remember correctly, David Jackson is playing on here from Van de Graaff Generator. one of the guys from Delirium is on here. Oh, I should have had my notes, Ken. I'm always screwing up. And there was somebody else. Somebody else playing on this damn thing. But anyway, they're a good band. I don't know if they're going to be your thing. I mean, it's not like they sound like Magma, but you have that sort of Zool undercurrent going on. So it's kind of cool because the way they marry it with a very heavy space rock sound. It's pretty neat. The Zool part is secondary, but it gives them kind of a unique quality. Next thing we got. Transatlantic Morse Fest, live at Morse Fest 2022. This is the Blu-ray edition. So it had been out as a deluxe art book, which went out of print, and now it's available. Single Blu-ray or 2 Blu-rays? I don't know. I forget. But we got it. Here. This is another one that slipped past me when I was bringing in all the East Wind Jazz reissues. This is the great Sadao Watanabe. This is called Recital. Sadao Watanabe is a sax player and perhaps the most famous of all the Japanese jazz artists. Now, I mean, he recorded for Columbia for years. Then he went through a period where he was recording for East Wind. And then he's worked with other labels. But you might recognize him because he had a lot of schlocky albums that came out like in the late 70s into the 80s. I mean, the guy was very prolific, but up until like around this time, this was recorded in 1976, and all his stuff from like 77 earlier is amazing. I mean, he was probably the star of the Japanese jazz scene. So everybody wanted to play with him and everybody played with him. But he did stuff like he'd do these cool albums. He'd go to Africa and he would incorporate like African tribal drumming into his albums and stuff. So it's really a lot of stuff that's like ethnic flavor. He got into like jazz rock as well. This is a live recording from '76. I haven't played this damn thing in a long time. I have the record in my collection. It's got Kazumi Watanabe on guitar. I don't think you need to know anything else. I mean, really, because Kazumi's a monster.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, this will clearly fall into that category of like great Watanabe. So there you go. And I don't know if Sadao and Kazumi if they're related.
I don't know. I've often wondered.
Sadao Watanabe, like he has an album called Pastoral, which is great, and he has another one like a fusion album called Passages. It looks like Passages, but it's Paysages. If you're watching this, track that album down. Like if you like Kochi Wishes, you would love Sadao Watanabe's Passages. And like I said, and a Pastoral also. Pastoral has parts, I swear, reminds me of the Grateful Dead. So really very interesting. So that's all the new CDs for the week. Now I want to talk about some of the restocks. So we got back IQ the weekend of 2024. Those came and went real quick. Restocked Maya, Fading Tomorrow, Polish band. This is the English language version. Female vocals, kind of like a Yes vibe to it, and beautiful cover art. We had brought it in, sold out of it right away. We restocked it. So next thing to talk about, I restocked all of those Japanese jazz reissues. I'm not going to go through the artwork. I don't, bury you with 15 more covers. So, but I'll tell you, we got back in Air Pocket, 3 titles by Teru Masahino, Masabumi Kikuchi, Ryo Kawasaki, 8 Mile Road, Kochi Wishes that went very quickly, a couple from Mikio Masuda, 3 from Kosuke Mine, 2 from Shunzo Ono, and Isaiah Suzuki's Hip Dancing. So they're all back in stock, and they went quickly. If you kind of dabbled with them a little bit and you enjoyed it, and then you want to go back for some more and you found that they were gone, they're all here now. So, and yeah, I mentioned the Hino and the Watanabe because I didn't have them the first time around. So I'm treating them a little differently. So there's that. And then,
did you hear that thing that just went off?
Yeah, it was an order.
That was for me.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Doesn't get any faster than that, right? Right in the middle of the episode.
There you go. Absolutely. There you go.
I'm following along as you're going through this. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
Absolutely. And then we got some vinyl pieces. We got Beardfish Mammoth. This came out in Giant Electric P. This is on red vinyl.
I remember that one. Wow.
Yep. Cyan, Pictures from the Other Side. So this is that Cyan album I was talking about. This got a vinyl edition. Cadavra we have on vinyl, and then the Runaway Totem we have on vinyl. And that's the new stuff for the week. And there's a lot of stuff coming for next week. In fact, I'm holding out on you. So we have things showing up in the next few days. Some cool stuff coming from Europe. And,
cool.
Yeah, we're busy.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we, as always, we will have the complete list of everything Ken showed and talked about today pinned down in the comments below. Lasercd.com is the link. Everything will be down there for you folks that like to kind of copy and paste, but it's pretty easy to find all the stuff on the main page because, as you can see, I was able to put together an order for myself very quickly without really causing too much commotion while Ken was going through stuff. So, yeah, it's all there. So,
I should just want to say, with the Japanese stuff, I set up a section on the front of the site again, underneath the featured releases to keep it all together. You can go through.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to find, so which is good. So that's cool, you guys. Because I remember when you first got that stuff in, you weren't sure you were going to be able to get anything else. And
I thought it was a one-shot deal, but it turned out no, I was able to get it, and that was one of those things where I just didn't know how people would react.
And how quickly did it all go? Within a couple of days?
It took a few days. Yeah, it didn't take long. It didn't take long at all. So people, because great price, we sell them
and good quality stuff, right?
Yeah, $13, first quality, great recordings, and beautifully packaged and Japanese.
And that's not stuff that was ever really, I think what's great about stuff like that is that for most people from here who are into like jazz, rock, and fusion, you're never going to find that stuff here.
Yeah. Oh no, only a few titles came out here on vinyl in the 70s. Some of them got released on Inner City Records, a handful of things. Like that Kochi Wishes actually got a US release. But most of it did not. And if you know, you know.
Yeah.
It was also kind of a weird label. I don't know if I mentioned this the last time, that you used to find those releases in high-end audio stores. You'd walk into a store and they would have a section of vinyl that a rack with all the the mobile fidelity and stuff like that, and then you would see things like these Japanese jazz releases on Eastwind, and very uncharacteristic because they're not necessarily audiophile per se, but they're very well recorded.
Yeah, for sure.
Really good albums.
So cool. So there you have it, everybody. Till next week, lasercd.com is the place to go, and happy shopping, everybody. Buy lots, buy often, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I should know.
That's the mantra. And Pete is an example.
Yes. As you saw how quickly that all happened, right? I was like, ooh, yeah, that's right. I need to get that.
Well, he gets first dibs.
That's right. Yeah, there you go. So I'm ahead of all of you. So yeah, when you are all watching this would have happened 24 hours ago. So anyway, visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together. All the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as a post. And please hit the like button before you leave, yada, yada, yada. You guys know it all. I've said it a million times, but I will continue to say it because you'd be surprised how many people don't do what I tell you to do. No good. Anyway, for Ken Golden, I'm Pete Pardo. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We've got coming up the UK Connection happening tomorrow. Simon and Stephen and myself will be ranking the songs on a classic album. That classic album is Iron Maiden's The Number of the Beast. And then Grant Arthur and I will be ranking the albums, 5 albums in total of the band JoJo Gun. Pretty cool hard rock band from the 70s featuring 2 former members of Spirit. And then, as we mentioned, coming up on Tuesday is In the Prog Seat. 5 Italian prog classics going to battle. Who's going to win? Tune in and see. Till then, for Ken Golden, I am Pete Pardo. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. See you next week here on the Professor's Picks. Bye-bye.